Hello everyone, I hope you are having a good day or night. My name is Chenge and I am wishing you the warmest welcome to a new perspective, a podcast that talks about gender based violence. Today we're going to talk about the EU's best practices and what really works. To do that, we have a guest, that is Nunzia.
Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for having me. I'm Nunzia Amirante. I work in international cooperation and European product design. What I try to do every day is connect the top down level of European policies, strategies, and programs with bottom up action, what happens on the ground in communities, through NGOs, and local actors, because that's where European priorities really become tangible.
So let's start from the big picture. What is truly working in the EU when it comes to gender based violence, from your perspective as an expert in international cooperation and EU project design?
Across the European Union, around 31% of women aged 18 to 74 have experienced physical or sexual violence in adulthood. For younger women, 18 to 29, the figure rises to 35%. From the top downside, two milestones stood out. First, the European accession to the Istanbul Convention, which made the Union itself bound to the common standard on prevention, protection, and prosecution. Second, the May 2024 directive, the first European wide law on violence against women, which criminalizes offenses like female genital mutilation, forced marriage, and key form of cyber violence, non-consensual image sharing, cyber stalking, and requires victim super services and free European helpline across member states. But what really makes this norm effective is how they are amplified from the bottom up. Media attention to high profile cases, public outreach and social pressure, and the day to day work of activists and NGOs. When journalism, communities campaigns, and civil society who design solution with institution, the law stops the abstract and start changing practice from reporting and training to services that survivors can access. In short, European laws, strong national frameworks, and strong civic mobilization, that combination is what truly working.
And which EU countries have achieved concrete positive results, particularly from your experience with EU funded cooperation projects?
There are some countries that really stand out. Spain, for example, has implemented the organic law in 2004. This is a comprehensive protection against gender-based violence. It recognizes gender-based violence as a human rights violation and establishes comprehensive protection for victims. The law guarantees concrete rights for women, full health care, psychological support, free legal aid, and protection in employment and social security. It also set out delegated courts in first instance and assigns competencies to provincial courts for appeals with the designated section where applicable, alongside mandatory professional training and sustained public awareness campaign. In Sweden, the so-called consent law passed in 2018 made it clear that sex without explicit consent is rape. That simple statement has changed the cultural conversation about the consent and accountability. France introduced in 2019 the Panel de Violence Conjugale, a major nationwide initiative launched after a series of feminicides. For 3 months, the government, NGOs, law enforcement, magistrates, and survivors worked together and produced 46 concrete measures from strengthening the national helpline to introducing electronic bracelet for offenders and fasten protection procedures for victims. In the following years, the plan was reinforced with more sheltered places and new support actions. It's a strong example of how political will, and civil society engagement can transform public outreach into real, lasting reforms. In my experience in European funded cooperation projects, that example show that when political will meets strong civil society engagement, progress is measurable in higher reporting rates, better training, and a visible shift in public attitude.
In your opinion, why do some countries fail to implement these practices? And what have you observed through your international cooperation work?
That's a really good question, and it's something we see often in international cooperation. Some countries struggle because of limited resources. They may not have enough shelters, trained staff, or funding for prevention campaigns. Others face deep cultural and political resistance, gender stereotypes, and norms that take generations to overcome. And sometimes it's about weak coordination between national institutions and grassroots level. In my experience, impact requires a multi-level architecture, structured dialogue, and co-design among policymakers, NGOs, and local communities. European programs create bridge that translate policy into practice.
Can you give us examples of successful projects, campaigns, or initiatives in this field, ideally drawing on EU funded cooperation work you've led or observed?
In recent years, we have seen a wave of projects funded through the European program, like Citizen Equality Rights and Value Program or the Erasmus Plus program. One of these initiatives is A New Perspective, the project behind this podcast, using audio and podcasting to train, inform, and spotlight positive models of masculinity as we tackle the gender gap and the gender based violence. No season two spoiled yet. So we are also seeking concrete results across this talk. This talk tackled tech facilitated violence and tackle war by training people and producing practical toolkit for public authorities and support services. Another Erasmus Plus initiative is UPART. UPART has been founded by the Italian Youth Agency and develops protocols to prevent and combat gender based violence in schools and universities, with the goal of creating a European model, a transnational model that can be applied at European level.
It's really inspiring. To close, from your perspective, what is the key ingredient to make the EU's fight against gender based violence truly effective?
I will say it comes down to coherence and connection. Coherence, meaning that laws, data, and policies across member states must align. And connection, because none of this works without collaboration between institutions and the people on the ground. As someone working at the intersection of international cooperation and the European programs, I see every day how the top down and the bottom up level can refer each other. The European level provides a framework. Civil society give it the heartbeat. And together they make equality not just a principle but a lived reality.
Thank you, Nunzia, for being here with us today. And for our listeners, join us in the next episode to explore how technology could play a role in combating violence. Thank you for listening to this episode and take care.